Good morning. This is kind of going to be like a really impromptu random vlog. I am spending the last couple days in Cali. I'll be back in New York soon. This trip has been stressful to say the least. Usually I come home and I can like read for most of the time. Nope, not at all. I'm definitely an in-home health aide at this point when I come home. So it's a bit stressful. So if anybody else does this, like, let me know. Today, we're gonna take my mom's phone to the Apple store in hopes that it gets fixed. And then this morning I was on hold for an hour with Medi-Cal services, and we found out my mom is not eligible for Medi-Cal. So that means she's not eligible to get the state or city or whatever to pay for in-home care. So that was a little bit of a revelation. Yeah, that's where we're at. But last night I had a really good sushi dinner with my friends Christina and Kyle, and that was a blessing because yesterday was like such a bad day. And then I had to go to the pharmacy. There's a strike right now going on at our doctors, so the line to get into the pharmacy is insane. And it's like good for them for striking, you know, like if we gotta stand in line, we gotta stand in line, like, you know, I support it. I had to talk to a manager because there were some issues with the medication. Luckily the pharmacist like really helped me a lot, and that was quick and painless. But I also started a new book last night. I'm literally in the middle of 3 books, which shows kind of like my mental state because I'm not one to like be in the middle of a bunch of books, but I can tell that like nothing is like keeping my grasp. But I did start The Wolf and the Crown of Blood. I'm so not very far, but look at the edges. I started this last night and I like it. Like I'm trying to become a fantasy gal, and I've read 4 fantasy books this year, and this is, I guess, a dark fantasy romance. It just came out at the end of January and I didn't know that. But then I also am reading Good Dirt. I read this when I'm on the treadmill. I walk 30 minutes and I read this while I'm on the treadmill, and I'm like 30% into this. I am not liking it as much as Black Cake. I'm obsessed with Black Cake. We just finished the show on Hulu, but this one I'm like, what is going on? What is this story? So I just felt like Black Cake, the way it was told, just all the twists and turns, like it was so crazy. This one is more straightforward, but I'm still trying to figure out what is going on and how everything is connected, because I feel like this author really likes to do multi-viewpoint stories and how they're all kind of connected. And I like their writing, but this one I'm like, it's not connected. I'm not connecting with it as much as I did with Black Cake. Not bad book, just not connecting with it as much as I did Black Cake. And then I also started Caught Up by Navisa Allen because I love Lights Out, and so I'm like, oh, I want to read Caught Up. It's also one of the books I brought from New York to read here. I'm not very far into that. I'm trying to read physical books. I'm trying to go back and forth to Kindle. I don't know, I think my mind is just so all over the place that I'm having a hard time like actually sticking to something. But today, Apple Store, movies, I'm gonna take my mom to the movies. She said she wants to do something outside of the house, so we're gonna try and do that and see if I can read more. I don't know, I still have more things to do. So this is like a really random vlog. Good evening. We've made it home from our day out adventure. We went to get my mom's phone fixed finally, and we are back in business. Then we went to eat at Lazy Dog. I have not been to Lazy Dog in a while, and I had a hard time deciding what I wanted, but their tomato soup, there's definitely like some red pepper in there. I don't know, but it was really good. And my mom got a burger. She loves burgers. I hadn't been to Lazy Dog in a while. My mom's like, why are there dogs in the pictures? I'm like, well, it's called Lazy Dog, so I don't know. Then we went to watch Mercy. My review of Mercy. I went in and I was hoping and praying that it was at least a 3-star. At the very minimum. I was like, come on, at least have this be a 3-star. I need to see what reviews say, and I'll look right now on Letterboxd. I will say it gave 3.5 star energy, and I was not mad at it. I actually thought the movie was kind of good. Like, it kept me entertained. It's like something you'd watch on Netflix. Like a Netflix film, but it's not winning any Oscars, obviously, but it was just like a fun, like it had me gripped. I'm not gonna lie, I was watching and I was like shooketh by some of the things. Like I was like, oh. So I was like, oh. I thought the premise is actually kind of interesting, especially with all the AI stuff that we're experiencing now. I saw literally a self-driving car the other day in Culver, which freaked me out. I just think the premise of like this guy being accused of murdering his wife, and he has to now use this system called Mercy, which he helped create to prove his innocence. My friend and I were talking today about like AI and ChatGPT and how like sometimes ChatGPT is like, you're like, it's like rooting you on. It's like, wait, it's not a person, you know? And this idea about robots and AI and emotions and whatnot. And so I thought that the movie was interesting, where it didn't really dive deep into that, but it did. You could tell that Rebecca Ferguson's character, she was the AI, the robot Mercy, and she was glitching out at some points where I was like, oh, you can't really display emotion, you can't really use your gut because you're just based on facts. And like it was interesting. I don't really like Chris Pratt like that, but him having to prove his like innocence was really interesting, and them having access to like everything, which there's been a lot of movies and documentaries that have come out that have all been from like dash cam or body cam footage. Like last year there was a documentary that got nominated for an Oscar, that a short film that was basically it was a police shooting of a black man, and all the footage was from like CCTV cameras and like body cam. It was very interesting. And then that documentary I just watched, Perfect Neighbor, all from body cam and like footage of cameras and whatnot. The only info we're getting is from like firsthand accounts. And it's very interesting because this movie did that. Like it had access to literally everything. I thought that this like futuristic kind of world where everybody has to kind of like register their device so that the Mercy has like access to all of that, when in actuality like higher people already have access to everything. I thought that was really interesting. I've said interesting like so many times. I need to find a new word for interesting. I just was surprised that I actually thought the movie was good. Like I was just like, please let this movie be somewhat decent. And it was definitely somewhat decent. Also, the girl, I don't know their name, but I know she's Indigenous and Black, and she's in also Rebuilding, and I was very excited to see her there. I don't like what they did with her in the end. That's the one thing that pissed me off. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised by the movie. My mom thought it was good too, and sometimes I like to ask people that also were in the theater like what they thought about it. So there was this lady sitting outside after, and I was like, you just saw Mercy, right? Like, what did you think about it? She's like, I thought it was good. I'm like, agreed. We were originally going to watch Marty Supreme, which I thought that my mom would also really like, but we didn't make that time after the phone and us eating. So the next thing that was showing was Mercy. And my mom was like, she was down to watch anything. She would have watched anything. So I remember when I was younger, I had her take me to watch like The Matrix, and she was like, what the hell is this? Because I was not old enough to watch it when it came out. And I remember her taking me, she's taken me to watch Saw, which is crazy because I was not old enough when that came out. And like so many things where I needed her to take me. And so when I was explaining to her like, oh, what movies do you want to watch? I think I was telling her about Bone Temple, and she's like, I don't know anything about them. She's like, I'm down to watch anything. I said, okay, girl, that's the attitude I like. The choices were probably Marty Supreme. I would have taken her to see Marty Supreme, Send Help, Mercy, just because. And there wasn't really anything else that I wanted to see that I would take her to see. I would take her to see One Battle. There was a theater playing One Battle. Damn, I should have taken her to see that. I just thought about that. I actually think she really liked that movie a lot. But I think it's on HBO now, so I kind of want us to watch it here. Maybe we'll watch it tomorrow. She also liked Mercy. My mom likes everything, but I like getting her reviews. I'm not able to get her review right now, but she said she liked it. She had questions. Obviously, it's a little bit hard for her to follow along, like what's happening. So I'll kind of ask, like, do you know what's happening? And she's like, yeah, there's a lot happening. So I definitely feel like it's a little bit harder for her to follow along to movies now, but I think she definitely still like enjoys herself. I'm happy about that. Like, I'm happy that she likes watching movies, because even though she doesn't understand what's going on, she still like enjoys the act of going and like watching something. So I appreciate that. And then I went to the bookstore. I know I'm on a ban, but I've decided I'm in another state. So money, it's not real here. It's different money. different money. So we're gonna do some girl math, and we're gonna pretend like the book buying ban is it's still on, but I also bought 2 books for my mom, and then my mom bought me 1 book, and then I bought 2 books for myself. So technically I only bought 2 books. That's not bad. That is not bad, even though that's not bad. Okay, it's February. I made it a whole month. You know, once I go back to New York, book buying ban is officially back on. So the book buying ban only exists in New York. That's what I've decided. Oh, let me show you what I got. So I got 3 books. I'm telling you, the books that get me the most these days are the ones with like the beautiful edges. Those are the ones that get me the most, and that's dangerous because all the books are having beautiful edges. But let's start with the one that didn't have the edges. But I finally got The Arcane Inheritance. I saw this at the airport when I flew into California, and I was like, I want this. And then I took a picture of it like I always do, and I was like, fuck it. Also, it's by a black woman. And that, I'm telling you right now, if I see a book and I don't really realize it's by a black woman, I'm like, oh, maybe. And the moment I see it's written by a black woman, I'm buying it. When I took a picture of this at the bookstore, I didn't realize it was by a black woman because paperbacks don't have the author photo on them. And then I saw this on, but I did take a picture. I saw this on someone's, like, what I'm reading in February, I'm reading black authors. I saw this book written by a black woman. I'm getting it. Secondly, or thirdly, I got 2 other books, and it's because of this. So I got Metal Singer, and it's because of this. This is the only reason why I got it. I also, when I go to the bookstore, I open like this. I open the book like this, and I see how I would feel with it open like this. And if I like how that feels, that's gonna sell me, especially with a hardcover, because I don't like hardcovers. So I got Metal Singer with the gold edges. That's mainly why. I've heard good things about this book though. Like very, very good things. Like, oh, okay. Kind of like that. That's cute. Wonder if this is gonna be like a series. But also I realized I got 2 books by Saturday Books. This is like a new publishing house, new publishing imprint. Then I also got Grace's Heart by Isabel Ibanez. I actually had seen this book last time and I was like, wow, this is gorgeous. And then beautiful. I also did the thing. I said, oh, I would love to be like 100 pages deep into this because it would just look and feel so amazing. The tagline is love is the most dangerous magic. You got me there. Well, you got me there. And then it has this cool little thing on it. Y'all, I'm becoming a fantasy gal. And whether it's fantasy romance, I don't know, but so my mom actually bought me this one. She said, I'm treating. I said, okay. And then I got her 2 books. I got her another coloring book, and I got her another cookbook because she wanted a cookbook. And I think cookbooks actually might help her. She did do something funny today. She put salt in her coffee, which it's not funny, but because I love her, it is funny. Because I'm sitting at the movies, I'm sitting outside. I see her go over to the little stand where the condiments are, and I'm talking on the phone with my friend, and then I look over and I get up and I'm like, wait, she has her coffee. I run over, I go, Mom, no, that's salt. She tasted it, she's like, it's fine. And then she put a straw in it and she's like, oh no. She's like, oh no. I'm like, I'm sorry, Mom, it's over. So I just got her lemonade and she was happy, so it was fine. But she said she was treating me to this book, and then I bought this book and this book for myself. So I spent more money than I wanted to, but guess what? I'm happy, my mother's happy, we're all happy. So that's really all that matters to me, honestly. So what am I gonna do for the rest of the night? I'm probably gonna edit. I want to read some more of my book though, The Wolf and the Crown of Blood. Or I might read on my Kindle. I don't really know. Like I said, I'm reading 3 books. So the Kindle book is mainly what I read when I am walking on the treadmill. And I do that every day. And then, yeah, I'll probably read some of The Wolf and the Crown of Blood. It's actually pretty good. From my understanding, okay, the book is about the gods and the humans were at war. And I believe gods and humans, yeah, I think we're at war. So 300 years before the story starts, they make a pact, a blood pact, that they will stop doing that, stop being at war. And so they do like a veil between the human world and the god world, I guess. And so that stopped the war, whatever. So then, 300 years passes. There's like This girl, I literally, at this, I forgot her name. Every month she has to make a blood sacrifice to the gods, as it's part of like it's part of the ritual. It's what they have to do to keep up this, you know, truce. And so she essentially dies every month as a sacrifice, and then she comes back alive. Her and her sister are like the princesses of blood. And yeah, so her and this other guy, Axos, I forget his name, they have the wolf, they have this little run-in, and he's like, you know, whenever he's gonna kill her eventually, and she's like, when you kill me, like, look me in my eye. Look me in the eye, okay? Let me go out like the princess I am. So they have this kind of like weird relationship. 2 years later, she is marked for death, essentially. And that's kind of where I am. She's marked for death. Her blood sacrifices are no more. She doesn't need to sacrifice her body anymore for this. And now this like marking on her wrist, it's crossed, it's an eye with a crossed out, and that means she's marked for death. That's as far as I've gotten so far. And she's really devastated about that, obviously, because the next time she does means that's it. And obviously she doesn't want to die. That's as far as I've gotten. Called like a dark fantasy romance, and I think he's the guy that's gonna have to kill her, but I have a feeling obviously he's not gonna want to. Like, it might be an enemies to lovers, or we'll see what's gonna happen. Literally, I came to the doctor for my mom, and now I'm about to go to urgent care. Like, it rains, it really pours, doesn't it? I'm supposed to get on a flight tomorrow. Well, what a turn of events. Well, things have taken a turn, and I, as you can see, am still in California. I slipped. My ass slipped down the stairs in our apartment, because we have a 2-story apartment. My ass fell down the stairs and I sprained my toe. It's crazy because I am I just hit my piercing. Jesus Christ. I am notorious for like hurting my toe, like stubbing my toe or hitting my toe on something. I stubbed my toe one time at a music festival, like in the hotel room, and that shit was bruised AF. And like, I'm pretty sure I've broken my toe before, or at least sprained my toe. Yeah, so I tripped down the stairs and hurt my toe. Yesterday we had doctor's appointments for my mom, and we ended up in urgent care for me for like 3 hours, which honestly, that's not the longest time I've spent in urgent care. So I was quite surprised at like how quickly we got through everything. I got an x-ray and he said it wasn't a fracture, which is good, but I definitely sprained it pretty badly and I can't work. So I was supposed to be on a flight to New York this morning at 6 a.m. and I knew that probably wasn't going to happen when I wheelchair the whole time at the doctor's yesterday when I was helping my mom. I literally was like, can we get a wheelchair? Like, I can't do this. So I'm like so annoyed because this is just like such an inconvenient thing to happen. Like, oh yeah, I'm here taking care of my mother because she's the sick one. She has dementia. We need to get her diabetes under control. And I fucking hurt my toe. Like, what the hell? This has to be a joke. Like, I just can't even. And now, like, I'm not as able to help her. Before, I was like, I was doing everything. And I literally can't. I can barely walk. I can't put pressure on my foot right now. Like, I have a moon boot thingy. And that does help. I walked out of the doctor's yesterday on crutches. I haven't been on crutches since I was like a kid. I was a rough kid. So I've broken my arm. I've sprained my ankles. I've definitely hurt my toes. I broke a finger. I also broke a finger when I was an adult. So that was interesting. But I've definitely bent my finger. I've like I said, I broke my arm. I've had scrapes, cuts, bruises, scars on my knees. I played a lot as a kid, okay? I'm a kid of the 90s. We played a lot. So, and I was also like, I don't know whatever this term tomboy is, but I played all the sports, like, so I'm no stranger to a little bumps and bruises and scars and crutches, I'll say that. I remember having a cast on my arm when I was really young, and it's just crazy because I'm like, they're like, have you used crutches before? I'm like, yeah, when I was like 10. Like, what the fuck? I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I'm glad it's not broken, because technically if it was broken, it would take 6 to 8 weeks to heal. And I know I don't think they cast unless I broke like my ankle or something. I don't feel positively about this, and I'm having a really hard time, with that. But I guess in the grand scheme of things, this is not the worst thing to happen. So I get a couple more days in LA. I will be sitting for most of it. Sitting or laying, because I have to do the whole rice method, like elevate, ibuprofen, cold, like I have to do ice, all that. So I'm trying to rest and elevate my foot as much as I can. I changed my flight to Tuesday in hopes that like having the whole weekend to like rest my toe would be like the best thing. But I definitely, like, I've been trying to move my toe since yesterday, and I can move my other toes now, but my big toe a little bit more than yesterday without pain, but it's definitely still pretty painful. Yesterday the pain was not stopping. Like I was just like sitting there we spent the time at the hospital from probably like 11:30 until maybe like 5:45, and it hurt the whole time. And it was crazy because I felt my foot like going numb, like my toe was just going numb, but it was like on fire also. It was so weird, and I felt it spreading, and my foot was like getting bigger. And yeah, so we are currently not bedridden, but I was like laying in bed. I was like, I can't do this, so I got up and sat in the chair. This trip has now taken a little bit of a turn. The plus side, I'm forced to sit down, and that means that, I mean, I was sitting down before, but I was like doing stuff obviously, but I like can't work out. I try and walk 10,000 steps every day. Like, I could do that, but that's going to be very slow. I also have to rest my foot, so it's probably not the best idea. But I was upset this morning because I was like, I can't work out. Like, I'm trying so hard to create this routine, and then like this happens. I'm sure you can see, you're probably like, bitch, shut up. But it's I'm just like, this is so stupid. Like, I feel like this is so stupid, But again, in the grand scheme of things, this is not the worst thing that could happen. I'm just gonna sit and read. I'm currently reading Good Dirt. And I think I've said this before, I don't like it as much as Black Cake. Black Cake is like a phenomenal book. That was her debut too, I think. This one's okay, but I did notice something kind of cool about the cover, because there's like this whole jar that's like involved in the story, and I didn't realize before, but like the cover is a jar. It's like really hard to see, but the cover is a jar and it has a face in it. So like, this is the jar. The whole thing, this orange thing, is a jar. There's a face right there. And there's this whole storyline about where this jar came from, how when Ebby's brother got murdered, the jar also broke. This jar is like huge in their family, and so we're following a couple different things. Like, we're following the jar maker, which is basically back in so they're slaves. So we're following them. At the jar maker, it's a guy, Moses, and then his wife, I believe, and like how that jar was created, why there's like initials MO at the bottom and all that. We follow that. And so that jar, how it's like passed down through generations, and how their family, the Freemans, I think, interesting name, the Freemans came about and came into that jar. And so then we're following Ebby, who E-B-B-Y, I don't know. Ebby, she has basically suffered this trauma because her brother was murdered when they were really young, and they were both home, and their parents weren't home. A lot of people know her as like the girl whose brother died. I think it was like 16 years ago. Abby also got left at the altar by her, you know, fiance Henry, and she is really obviously hurt by that, so she goes away to France. Yeah, so then we're following that storyline. So there's a lot of different things happening. Similarly with Black Cake, there was a lot of different stories happening, but yeah, I'm like 51% into this Good Dirt. It says I have 3 hours and 55 minutes left. I'm just gonna sit here until I finish the book. Good morning. Talking low because it's like 7:30. I don't know if my mom is awake yet, but I'm obviously still here in Cali. But yesterday I spent a lot of the day reading. I kind of gave up a little bit on Good Dirt just because I couldn't, like, it wasn't holding my attention, and I was almost 60% through, and I just need to be better this year at DNFing. I just woke up and I feel like I'm getting sick, which is like, I can't deal with that on top of everything that's already been happening. I'm so tired. I'm gonna take another day to rest and recuperate. I'm planning to finish this book. I made it to page 168. I made it pretty far. All I have left is this. I'm liking it so far. It's to me, it's like nothing spectacular, but it's keeping me entertained and interested. I should preface by saying I know nothing about 1001 Nights. Like, I've never read that tale. Like, I don't know, I didn't really know the premise. I've heard of Shahrazad before, I just didn't know anything. And obviously I love Aladdin, and I know that Aladdin, I believe, comes from like one of those stories. Basically Shahrazad is like now marrying the king of kings, and the whole thing with him is that he basically he hates women so much, he marries a new bride and then sleeps with her, and then in the morning he kills her. I'm gonna assume they sleep together because she kind of alludes to them sleeping together each night, because she says, oh, he didn't kiss me and it wasn't that painful. Basically her goal is to not die in the morning, so her plan is that she is going to tell him a story every night. And we just got to Aladdin, which I thought was interesting. She's made it 2 nights so far. 2 nights in a week, because he went away and then he told her like, no one's gonna bother you, which I think is very interesting, because like that means she made it 1001 nights in the original story. That is wild. But he's clearly starting to develop admiration or love, I don't know. He calls her my queen. She is also starting to have some unwanted feelings towards her lord, as she calls him, the king of kings. She has a reason about why she's doing that, because I believe her sister, I think her sister was also involved in this, and she was also a victim of all of this. That's what I think happened. So she's kind of like on a revenge plot, obviously, revenge mission, and her whole thing is like she wants to kill him. This is like one of the first women he's allowed to stay alive. It has really entranced him, which good for you, girl. I'm gonna try and read as much of this. There's a second book. I don't know if I'm gonna read the second book. Okay, let's do some quick updates, because I don't know what happened, but my mood just went crash and burn. So I have not even gotten to page 200 of The Wrath and the Dawn. Not that I'm not interested, I don't know, I think I'm getting a little restless. I was supposed to be back in New York by now and so I was supposed to be back to work by now, and so I feel like I'm a little bit restless, because I honestly am supposed to just rest and not, you know, not even be on my foot, but I'm not good at that. And I've been resting as much as possible and like relaxing, but I'm getting a little restless. I'm so restless that I did my taxes. Like, I was like, I'm bored, like I need something to do. That's the thing that sucks is I don't have a car in Cali, so I can't, and I'm supposed to be resting. I have to tell myself that I'm supposed to be resting, and it's okay to rest. Not that I'm not interested in the book, I don't know what it is. I'm just like not feeling it right now. I'm trying to think if there's something else I'm feeling. I don't know. I'm like, is there a movie I can watch? Is there something, like something? Come on, you know? Because I want to just sit here. I want to just sit here and stare into space. Like, I've journaled, I've worked on my planner, I did my taxes, I read some of my book. The only thing left for me to do is edit. I've even started watching some YouTubes, and not that I don't watch YouTube anymore, I still watch YouTube a lot, but I'm watching Gabby Reed's, which is nice because she has like long videos, so I can like sit, and I love watching her. Her vlog styles are the way that I liked to, are the way that I originally started to do my vlogs, because I really like her vlog styles because it incorporates reading plus like her actual life, and I really appreciate that. It's a little bit later in the night. I finally have some time to myself. I made dinner. I was trying to lay down and watch a show, but I had to cook dinner for my mom. Finally back upstairs, and it's that time of the night, it's like 7, where I would just like to relax and like decompress. I was gonna make some tea, but I just got some water and ice, and I'm just gonna try and read. So I have been having a lot of trouble this month actually like keeping with a book. There hasn't been anything that has like gripped me enough to where I want to finish it. I've started so many books. I've started Caught Up, I've started Wrath in the Dawn, I've started Good Dirt. I have this other book that I got called Not Quite Dead Yet, and I thought that would be fun because I feel like whenever I get in reading slumps, I like to read thrillers because those are the books that like they usually fly, they usually keep me interested, so I like to read thrillers. So that was one idea. I had to start that. Quite Dead Yet, I gotta find the book. Then I also had this idea that this is a TBR jar that I made when I lived in California, probably like 10 years ago. I had one of my exes at the time help me. This is when I was into making like writing every single book that I had on my TBR, on my shelves, writing them on little pieces of paper and folding them into little origami stars. Like, I don't own probably any of these books anymore. I definitely don't own 90% of the books because I opened up 2 the other day and I was like, yeah, I don't own these at all anymore. So I thought it would be kind of fun to open one of these and maybe read that book for the night. I can get it on my Kindle and I can just read that. So you can't really like mix any, but I'm gonna pick this one, and I called this like my star jar for my star books. And so this is the one I got, a plain little orange one. And let's see, I think I opened one. It was a book by Paulo Coelho, and then another book by like Ian McEwan, and it was not Atonement. So when I was younger, I would just buy books. Like, I would just buy books by an author that I was like, oh, I want to read all their books. I would just buy all their books, even if I hadn't read one of their books. So I'm much more diplomatic about what I buy now, but back then I was not. Another thing about these stars is they are so hard to get apart. I genuinely don't even know like which side is the end. Okay, found the end. So the book on here is, oh yeah, I did not write this. I'm not reading this. It is called, all I see is Lo Bosworth. If you don't know who Lo Bosworth is, that means you didn't watch The Hills, okay? I was an avid watcher of The Hills, okay? And I didn't even realize she wrote a book. Let's see if I can get, book is called The Lowdown by Lo Bosworth. Reality TV person, it's a 3.3 on Amazon. Reality TV personality Lo Bosworth has witnessed her fair share of bad dating and has experienced some herself. As a star on 2 reality shows, she is no stranger to drama and what comes along with it. Now she is offering her advice gleaned from her and her famous friends' relationship experience on dating and love. I'm not reading this. No, not for me. That is not something I'm interested in reading at all. Ever. So let's pick another one. More fiction. I don't want a book on dating and in love advice. Like, what? No, not from Lo, not from anybody. That's not true. That's not true, but that I don't want to read that book by Lo. Like, I'm sorry, Lo, I love you, but I don't want to read that book. Are all the like plain red ones like books by like memoirs? Cause like, what the hell? The first one I see is Russell Brand. No, we're not reading a book by Russell Brand. My reading tastes have changed so much, drastically. Because what am I doing with the book by Russell Brand? Like, girl, come on. I think it's called like The Bookie Book or something. This was, in hindsight, this was such a bad idea because I didn't realize that undoing the stars would be so hard. I'm gonna have to get one of the stars that has a design on it. Yeah, okay, this book is called My Book Wook by Russell Brand. No, we're not doing that. So next, I might as well read Not Quite Dead Yet. At least if I can get one that has like actual designs on it. All right, this cute little blue one that has like star designs. Let me see if the camera can focus on the star. Oh, I got it. Okay, so that's the one I got. We're 0 for 2. Okay, so let's see if this is any better. My reading taste has changed. The Witch and Wizard series. That's that is like a middle grade book. Let me see. By James Patterson. Witch and Wizard is the first one. When a dystopian government controls every aspect of society, siblings Wisty and Wit, all good, may be the world's only hope in this magical beginning of James Patterson's Witch and Wizard series. The world is changing, the government has seized control of every aspect of society, and now kids are disappearing. For 15-year-old Witsy and her older brother Wit, life turns upside down when they are torn from their parents one night and slammed into a secret prison for no reason they can comprehend. The New Order, as it is known, is clearly trying to suppress life, liberty, and the pursuit of being a normal teenager. But while trapped in this totalitarian nightmare, Witsy and Wit discover they have incredible powers they'd never dreamed of. Can this newly minted witch and wizard master their skills in time to save themselves, their parents, and maybe the world? I don't know why I'm laughing. This seems, if I were in middle grade or even high school, this seems great. Should I give it a try? How many pages in this is this actually? Okay, so let's give it a try. I know I'm supposed to be reading books on from my TBR, my physical TBR, but technically this was my physical TBR for a long time, and I'm home, and normally when I'm home, I don't really stick to my physical TBR. Also, I'm having a hard time with my January TBR. I don't think I've started not one book. Like, I think I've started a book, but I haven't finished not one book. So that's been annoying. I also want to read this one, Seven Daughters of Dupree. I need to finish something before I go back to New York. Like, I have to. So where's my Kindle? I'm using my Kindle as a bookmark. So this is the book I'm reading. Literally, my Kindle is a bookmark. To inflict a dark wound. Well, I'm on 187 of The Wrath and the Dawn, which is pretty good. Let's see if she's made it on. Yeah, I feel like my Kindle's also about to die. I also got A Piece of Cake by Cupcake Brown. It's a book that I have here that I've been wanting to read for a long time. It's a memoir. See, I also heard of this book, Daggermouth. I got this book called The X's. I also, has anyone ever read a book called Secrets of a Side Bitch? That's like very, very niche, that title, but I remember I used to read books like that all the time. And books like The Cartel by Ashley and Jaquavis, I think is how you pronounce his name. Got some books by Ashley Antoinette, and I got a book called Cutthroat by Octavia Grant, Daggermouth by H.M. Wolfe. I don't know, I just got a bunch of random stuff. I also got The Girls Who Grew Big, which I heard is really good. I haven't started it yet because, as we know, I'm trying to read books for my physical TBR at home in New York. There are 104 chapters in this book, so I can't imagine the chapters being that long. So I'm gonna give this book 25%, and we'll see. Okay, I just looked on Goodreads for the reviews about this book. You know, just so I can have a little context. And the first reviews I see, 2 stars, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. I'm not looking, I don't know. Someone gave it a 5-star though. Okay. 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 3 stars, 1 star, 4 stars. 1 star, 4 stars, 1 star, 2 stars, 5 stars, 1 star, 1 star, 2 stars. It's not looking good. Good morning. Happy Sunday. I officially finished Witch and Wizard. That was such a random pick from like the star jar that is now up there. So random, but I started it last night and I finished it this morning. It's a very, very, very quick read. It's for kids, obviously, so it's very quick. The chapters are insanely short, and I'm gonna say it's not well written, not very detailed. It was definitely skimming towards the end because I was like, okay, we need to get through this. And I mean, for kids, I thought it was okay, but I gave it a 2 star. Like, now I understand why people give it like a 1, 2 star. It was so random, but I finally finished a book. It is February, what, 8th, 7th, 8th? I don't even know. And I have not finished not one book. So at least I finished that. So we're going to move on to Not Quite Dead Yet. I would like to read at least one of the books I bought while I was in Cali here, so that I could just leave it here and I don't have to take it back home. I don't have to try and fit it in my suitcase. So I'm gonna try and see how much I can read of this today. But it is the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny's performing, so I don't really watch the Super Bowl like that. For the last 3 years, I have gone to my friend's house for the Super Bowl just for the vibes, and they moved to Philly and I'm in Cali. That one's gonna happen this year, which is fine. I was supposed to be back in New York, but it's okay. So yeah. So I definitely want to watch Bad Bunny. My mom watches the Super Bowl every year, so I might go and try and spend some time with her. I'm gonna work on some editing and then maybe see how much of this I can read, and then that'll pretty much be my Sunday. This is what I came for. I didn't come for nothing else. I came for Bad Bunny. Ooh, that man is so fine. Okay, is that Jessica? Was that Jessica Alba? He's literally got everyone in the casita. Is that Pedro? Bro, was that Cardi B? I feel like he has everybody in the casita. Okay, I can't even imagine who his special guests are right now. Is this who are the, yes! He's so fun. This man really said, I'm speaking in Spanish the whole Super Bowl and I love it. Is this real? Him and Lady Gaga are literal BFFs. Oh man, not Ricky Martin. Hey. Morning. It's my last day in Cali and I need to talk about this book. I need to talk about this book. Yesterday, I started this book. Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. It is so good. I read just yesterday. I started this yesterday. I read 176 pages. I made it to chapter 18. I also like doom scrolled for like a couple hours at night. So I can't even imagine how far I would have gone if I just like didn't doom scroll. I'm loving this book. It's so good and engrossing. Like, I knew a thriller could get me out of my reading slump because that's what thrillers do. They get me out of my reading slumps. And basically, like, this book was not on my TBR this month. I'm probably scrapping my whole TBR. We've made it 1 month and had a TBR, and I mean, I don't know if I'll scrap the whole thing, but I will try and read some books, but I don't know what it is. But right now the TBR is like the farthest thing from my mind. But I started this book and it's about this girl. Also, pause, I didn't know that I had a signed copy, which that's cool. But basically it's about this girl. Her name is Jet, or Marge, I guess they call her by a nickname, but Jet. And she gets attacked. She's 27, she moved back home, she's trying to kind of like figure out her life. She moved back home and it's Halloween, and she goes home one night and she's attacked. Basically, she doesn't know who attacked her, but she's attacked, hit over the head 3 times, and it put her out for a couple days. And basically, like, it broke off like a piece of her like skull, I guess, and she already has kidney failure, I think. Her kidney is basically going to fail eventually, and so she has to be really careful about what she eats, the medicine she takes, all of that. And so because of this already, like, this kidney disease that she has, it makes, like, I don't know all the technical terms, but her skull is, I don't know if they're saying her skull like is weak, or like something about her walls, like her brain walls or something, are a little bit weak. So basically, because of this little thing that like fractured off in her skull, it's going to form an aneurysm in her brain no matter what. And she basically has 5 days or 7 days, a la The Ring, 7 days. Once that 7 days hit, it is inevitable that this aneurysm will rupture and she will be not of this world anymore. Which, what a sad premise, first of all. Secondly, she basically is like, I need to solve my murder. Which I do think it's a little bit interesting that she had pretty much a traumatic brain injury, and she's like up and walking like 2 days later. But this, she got lucky and unlucky in the parts that like where she was hit and whatnot. But she's up and walking 2 days later. She does have some memory issues. She can't like figure out certain words and stuff like that. But basically she's like, I need to solve my murder. For her, I understand she feels like an F up. I know she does. And I think she's like, I have not completed anything that I've tried to do. She dropped out of law school and she's like, I need to complete something. I need to do this for myself. So she is like, I'm determined to figure out who killed me, basically, because it's inevitable. She's like, it's inevitable that I'm going to die in 7 days, and I'm going to, in 7 days, I need to figure out my murder. So basically, that's what she's doing, and that's what this book is about. But it's so engrossing. It's kept me like really wanting to just flip through the pages. Like, reading 178 pages in 1 day, for me, it's not unheard of, but it's definitely like, the book has to be really good and it has to keep me wanting to read. Every other book that I read, that I've been reading, has not kept me wanting to read. But this is keeping me on the edge of my toes. She's being helped by her friend Billy, who clearly likes her. They've been friends since they were children, but he clearly likes her. They don't know who did it. Things are starting to unfold. You know, there's a lot of suspects. Of course, the first suspect is her ex-boyfriend. And then right when they had kind of said, oh, it's your ex-boyfriend, I was like, that's too obvious. I just know it's not him. It's too obvious. You know, you always think, oh, it's always the husband. It's always the boyfriend. But I feel like thriller writers now don't want to do that. And I understand. It's like, no, it's not always the boyfriend. Like, if we're doing, you know, like, it's not always the husband. So I do think that some things are going to come out that maybe it's not the boyfriend, but also like maybe multiple people are involved. I have no idea, but I am loving this book. It's probably going to be a 5-star. 5-star. This is my second 5-star of the year. I would like to finish this book today before I get on a plane tomorrow, so that I can start something else while I'm on the plane. And I don't think I'll pack this book. I would love to, but I probably have to leave at least 1 or 2 books here, which that's fine. Obviously, I'll be back. I'm gonna see how much I can read of this today. Also, can we just talk about, real quick, Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance? I don't listen to Bad Bunny like that, but that man knows how to party. He gives me, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but he gives me Pitbull vibes, only in the way that he like moves and he's really energetic. Because if you've ever been to a Pitbull concert, that man can move. Like, I went to one Pitbull concert in my life and that was a party. Okay, we were at a party, kind of like when you go to Renaissance, you're at Club Renaissance. That's how it felt when you were at Pitbull. That man knows how to throw a party. So that was like the vibe that Bad Bunny gave, because he was there to party and he was there to make a statement. And I was like, I loved that he was like, I'm not singing in English, not one lick of English. Okay, yeah, maybe there was like America, Canada was said in English, but like Super Bowl, whatever, you know what I mean? But like, he's like, I'm singing in Spanish the whole time. Okay, and all the representation, like he said Mexico, I was like, hey, you know, like all the Americas are going to be included. And I love it. Like, I loved that shit. And I heard that there was a lot more representation. Like some girl on TikTok, like he said Belize, and she was like super emotional because she's like, we never get representation. And like his football said like we're all the Americas, or together we are America, or something like that. But I just feel like him giving the Grammy to that little boy, and I don't know who that little boy was. There's speculation about who it is, but I don't know who it is. Maybe it's him as a kid, because he's watching like himself win the Grammy literally like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, which I thought was so interesting, giving the Grammy to the little kid. Probably him maybe watching himself. I don't know. But also the people got married. I'm like, is that real? Like, that's definitely real. It was great. I definitely need to download the playlist, because I don't listen to Bad Bunny like that. But I was literally there at the Super Bowl for him. I don't care about these teams. I don't care who won. I don't know any of these people, but I know Bad Bunny, and we were there to support. I'm sure his halftime show was like one of the most watched halftime shows like ever. I feel like Beyonce's was like up there for a long time, but I feel like his show was probably like the most watched show. I have to look, I don't know the stats, but I guarantee his show was up there, and it was so good. That man is fine. That man is so cute. Like, oh my god, I knew he was cute. Like, I knew I see him around. I see him on TikTok. I see him online. I see him and I'm like, oh, that's a fine man. He's so cute. He is so cute. I just like, and he had the casita there. I was like, oh, he brought the casita to the Super Bowl, which is sick, because he had Jessica Alba there. I saw Daddy Pedro Pascal there. I saw Cardi B. Everybody was saying Alex Earl was there. I did see her. I don't know her like that. I don't know, but I feel like people were like, what's Alex Earl doing there? Don't care. I don't care. I was like, is that Jessica Alba? Okay, Jessica Alba. Also, he did trick us with Gasolina, because I was like, oh my god, Daddy Yankee's gonna come out. Didn't happen, but that's okay. Bringing out Gaga, especially like after all those TikToks and her approaching him at the Grammys, and like they've always been really big supportive friends, and I freaking love that he brought her. This was like a moment. You could tell she's just happy to be there, you know, supporting her friend. And then Ricky Martin, the legend that is Ricky Martin, man, that man has not aged. Same with Jessica Alba. She looks not a day over 25, okay? It was so fun to see his performance. Like, it was so cool, and like I said, that man knows how to party. I just love all the symbolism. Like, I heard some of the stores that he had were real stores, and I just like I love all the like representation of like Latin American cultures, or you know, like Puerto Rico, and like I just love all of that. Like I said, he said Mexico, and I was like, hey, you know. I'm gonna say this, the last 2 years of the Super Bowl, well, even like the years before that, because it was in California one year, and they had like Snoop Dogg, and like that was cool. It was a very West Coast performance. But last year, Kendrick Lamar's performance, oh my god, I still listen and watch that performance to this day. It's been a year, and I still listen to that playlist because it's on Spotify. But I still listen to that playlist. I still listen to that. I still watch it on Apple Music. Like, you can watch it on YouTube. I am obsessed with Kendrick Lamar's performance, and I think it's pretty obvious why I'm obsessed with Kendrick Lamar's performance and the representation and the symbolism that he had, because in his performance, and just the flare pants. Like, I'm obsessed with that performance. And then like to see this performance, because I am also Mexican, like I just am really proud of those, like both of those performances, in the like what they did and what they accomplished, because I think Kendrick uses his platform and Bad Bunny uses his platform, and they're just speaking to, like, at that time when Kendrick performed, like, we needed him to perform at that time. And the time that Bad Bunny performed with all this ice bullshit, like, could not be more perfect. Right now, this was the time that we needed that performance. The collective world needed that performance. And I love that people were so moved by it, and it's just like, it shows the power of music and how it can bring people together. And like, I truly believe, I love I loved it. I love music, and I love like like what it's bringing. So I think that performance was genius. Genius. If you didn't like that performance, like, I don't think we watched the same performance, because it's not that I listen to Bad Bunny's music all the time. I'm more quick to turn on Kendrick than I would Bad Bunny, but I was there to support. I mean, I'm more quick to turn on Coheed and Cambria than any of them, and we know this, but like, and Coheed, I don't know if they're ever getting to the Super Bowl, but I'ma like my little Coheed and be happy with them on the side. But if you didn't like that performance, I don't know what to tell you. You don't know how to have fun. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That performance was so fun. But I'm gonna go read. I got things to do. I gotta pack, I gotta read, I gotta edit, I gotta do a lot of things. But I really want to read. I'll be back when I have updates. I think I'll probably be back when I finish the book. That's probably what's gonna happen. Just finished Not Quite Dead Yet, and I'm looking online for more thrillers, and I realized that Not Quite Dead Yet won the Goodreads Choice Awards for thriller this year, best mystery thriller at this year's Goodreads Choice Awards. And that makes sense. It was a 5-star. It was so good. There was a part where I thought I had guessed like who had done it, but then they got me, and I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming. But it was so good. 5 stars. Like, thrillers really get me out of my reading slumps, and now I just want to read more. But it's interesting, for the Goodreads Choice Awards, I also read King of Ashes this past year, and that is definitely like also a 5-star. So I feel like that one is really good. And I do wonder, oh, how many votes did it get? 42,000 votes for King of Ashes. It was number, it looks like 7. And of course, Freedom McFadden and the Tenant was number 2. I'm sorry, Not Quite Dead Yet. It's one of the best thriller books I've ever read. It's definitely gonna go in my Hall of Fame in my book journal, but that was so good. Like, Holly Jackson, I'm sorry, I've read 2 of her books. The first one was Good Girl's Guide to Murder. That was also a 5-star. I need to finish that series because it's so good. And I've heard such great things about 5 Survive. Like, I'm gonna read that one. And I need to read the reappearance of Rachel Price, I think. But I think this was her first adult book, and it was so good. It was so good. I literally texted my friend right after, and I was like, girl, read this book. It's so good. It was 7:30, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself 2 hours to finish this. I finished it by 8:30, thank goodness. So now I can like focus on packing. I've already packed, but like focus on getting my last stuff like in the suitcase and the backpack. But I'm like looking at more thrillers, but I literally was like, I can't do anything else until I finish this book. It was so good. And nothing has been sticking with me lately, and that book was so good. So go read that book. 5 stars. I'm gonna end the vlog here. Thank you for watching. Bye.